Good morning. Welcome to another new day of new learning. Today we will be discussing the motives of A Tale of Two Cities. Now, before we proceed, let's discuss what motives are. Motives are a recurring image, symbol, or a theme or a character type, or any subject that you will come across again and again throughout the novel. We have many. First, we'll discuss the doubles. The motive of doubles. The book itself starts with it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. This continues for a whole paragraph. Now, this is the doubles that is being repeated, the doubles and the opposites as well. Next is the here in this very opening paragraph, the Dickens establishes that everything is parallel and nothing is as it seems. So he's laying basically the foundations of what to expect. The doubles is again seen in the title itself, the two cities, Paris and London. The novel keeps moving between these two cities. We come across differences between the cultures, the traditions, the living, and how the people's mentality and the thought process was between these two cities. The characters as doubles, none other than Sidney Carton and Charles Darnay. They were look-alike, like any other movie. And that is how Carton was able to save Charles Darnay from death twice. First, in his uh, case in England, when he was being tried for treason, and the last, in towards the end of the book, when Charles was subjected to the sentence of death, and he was replaced by Carton at the last moment. Carton died, and Darnay was saved. So the doubles here, in fact, played a happy card or the happy lucky card for Charles Darnay. The other motive that we come across is that of shadow and darkness. Now, the shadows and darkness, we see that all the major characters, all the major events in the book, they happen in shadows, in darkness, and it represents the gloom and apprehensions throughout the novel. The very beginning, the very first incident, the mail coach's journey, it was in the dark. Jerry Cruncher, the first character to be introduced, emerged from the mist and the dark. We see that Lucy Minette was introduced to Jarvis Lowry from the shadows. She came out from the shadows as well, from the darkness. Madame Defarge casted a shadow on Lucy and all of her hopes by denouncing the whole Evremont family, by trying to kill Lucy and her daughter, and by denouncing her husband, Charles Darnay, in Paris. Another shadow and a darkness example we come across is when the Mrs. Defarge uses the letter that was used to condemn Darnay to death. This throws a crippling shadow over the entire family. So all the major events that we have are all happening in shadows and darkness. Imprisonment. Now, for the literal meaning of imprisonment, we see that Charles Darnay and Dr. Minette, they serve the purpose of literal meaning of imprisonment. And that was they were actually imprisoned in the Dr. Minette in the Bastille Fort and Charles Darnay in La Force. Now they served sentences in the French prisons, and we come to see how pathetic the conditions in the cells or in these prisons were. But we have a metaphorical meaning of imprisonment as well. And the best example is none other than Sidney Carton. He, throughout the novel, struggled against his confines of his personality. He was dissatisfied with his hopeless, worthless life, calling himself a dissolute dog where he loved nobody and nobody loved him. So he was a prisoner of his own thoughts. Another character depicting the metaphorical imprisonment is none other than Dr. Minette. He was trapped in his recollection of the past events or the life that he spent in the Bastille Fort, the 18 hard years. And whenever he thought of that, he would revert to shoemaking. That was an escape from the harsh memories. But he was again a prisoner of his own thoughts, of his own past, of his own life spent in the Bastille Fort. And this is what made him the metaphorical example of imprisonment. Next, we have that's it for today. You'll get a quiz, attempt that to test your knowledge about the motifs. See you then. Happy learning.